What's going on, everybody? Today I'm going to go over my Bitcoin update. I'm also going to be doing a video. I already filmed it. It's ready to go. I'm going to be launching that tonight. So Friday night will be a profit trailer and PT feeder settings update, kind of how I've been playing this rebound of the market. And I apologize for not being around the past couple of days. I've been super busy offline, kind of coming up with some new ideas and stuff that we can do on this channel to help grow the community. Some cool things that I think can really help people who are just getting into the space and whatnot. So if you're not subscribed and you enjoy the content, please subscribe to the channel. Give me a thumbs up. But basically, last time I made a video, we were sitting in the high 300 billion range, and now we're almost at the $500 billion range, which is really good news. So we're seeing a rebound in the market. A lot of people are calling these outrageous numbers for Bitcoin, and I'm still of the opinion that slow and steady is much better, and there's a couple reasons for that. I do enjoy the profit trailer profits during these not necessarily sideways markets, because you obviously want the market to be increasing in value over time. But I do enjoy this slower move as well. And it just seems healthier to me coming from background in other trading markets, right? So if we look at the Bitcoin chart here, and I'm going to go into the 1 hour first, or the 1 day, I mean. So one thing that I wanted to note that is more relevant, I think, in other markets, commodities markets, if you're trading in the stock market, maybe you're doing equities or ETFs or index funds, whatever. These moving averages, a lot of people look at them, right? And I think they look at them more in these other markets because there's more action, there's more liquidity, there's more people trading, there's more money. This is only a $400 billion marketplace. So it's very small, but I still think that there's a lot of liquidity, especially in Bitcoin, which is what we're looking at. So, I mean, if you have a ton of Bitcoin, you could probably cash out $50 to $100 million worth of Bitcoin a day. And that is that's pretty big liquidity. So I still think this is very viable to be looking at. So basically what we're looking at here is a 100-day moving average, compared with a 50-day moving average. And we crossed over it a couple days ago in a bullish manner. So that's when the slower moving average crosses over on the upward direction of the faster moving average. So this is a good bullish sign. I'm seeing a lot of people saying like, oh, the volume, there's no volume, like this is ridiculous. Well, I mean, if you look at the overall market for the past, I don't know, since end of 2017 when we started this run up, the volume that we're sitting at now, especially the average volume, is higher than when we started this run up. So I'm not really sure what people are talking about when they say that the volume is at like close to zero. I mean, yeah, sure, we have some days in here where we had very low volume, and that was kind of when I was drawing that descending wedge and we were getting towards the apex of that wedge, and volume tends to decrease in that region. So I'm not too worried about the volume. We have this massive uptick. This is probably one of the biggest trading days that we've ever had in Bitcoin from what I've noticed. I mean, that volume is huge. So I'm not too worried about the volume. Obviously, the more volume we get, the more satisfied I will be. Anyway, so the next thing I wanted to talk about was, where are we going next? What's happening? The longer we go on this uptrend, the less likely I feel it is to get down to another double bottom at the $6,000 range. If you've been following a while, we drew this ABC corrective wave down. That was because this was the end of our 5 wave at 20,000. So we needed our Elliot corrective wave, ABC, all the way down to the bottom here at 6,000. A lot of people were calling for another corrective wave down, maybe even lower to the $3,000 range, to the 1,500 I've heard. But I think the longer we go in this trend, the less likely it is that we see this double bottom. So I'm going to go into a 1 hour chart and I will explain my thoughts on this market and what's happening. So right now I'm looking at this as the bottom, and we saw a little bounce up into this region, and then we kind of started trading more or less sideways with pretty good support at around the $7,800 mark, which was good. That's very healthy, good to see. And so then I drew a couple new Elliott waves. And so I'll move this one up. So we're going to focus on this one first. And we had our 1 wave, our 2 wave down here, our 3 wave here, 4, and then 5 up to about 10,300, which is what we hit, I believe it was yesterday. And if that is the 5 wave, then it is, generally speaking, we will see one of these Elliott corrective waves. And I think that is playing out pretty nicely right now. And so what I think is going to happen, and what is currently happening at this point in time, is this C wave, the C corrective wave, can come down to about the $9,500 mark. And then we can draw this bigger Elliott cycle. And I'll move this one out of the way now. And we have our 1, our 2 wave down, our 3 wave up here, which was the end of the 5 wave. And generally speaking, you do have a bit of a pullback in a 3 and a 4 wave, right? So we can still feasibly see this playing out. And then once we hit this support line, we can jump up to our 5 wave. And the reason I chose about 12,000 for our 5 wave is due to previous price action and where all the congestion was at previously. And the same thing for choosing this 10,300 mark. And then this $9,500 mark, wherever that is right here. A lot of these are very psychological. They're psychological numbers. They're round, even numbers, right? So people tend to put those kind of orders in the order book more often than they're going to put in $9,512. They're going to put in 9,500. So there tends to be more support and more resistance at those levels. So that's kind of why I chose those. So 12,000 I think is a very psychological number. Same with 10,300, 9,500, those kind of things. But anyway, so the longer term trend that I'm looking at is a head and shoulders trend. And I drew this line here. But basically this would be our left shoulder. This would be our head, and this would be our right shoulder as it's playing out right now. So the longer this sort of symmetrical head and shoulders pattern plays out, the better we are, and the more likely things are going to happen. The more symmetrical, the better. And we're seeing a much quicker decrease in price than we are an increase. So that makes the symmetry a little bit worse. So I'm not too worried. If we did a date range from our head and our left shoulder, we would have about 8 days and 23 hours. And then if this plays out in the time range that we're thinking, 8 days and 23 hours has already passed. So we haven't necessarily made a fully symmetrical head and shoulders. If we do get over in this region, it would be about 13, 14 days, somewhere in that range. And that's not terrible. I'm not too worried about that. But if this does play out, generally speaking, and this is not an exact science, this isn't, for sure going to happen. This is technical analysis. It's not based on certainty and facts, right? This is just, we roll with the punches and we see what we can see, and we change our analysis as the time goes on. But I think this is a great buying opportunity if this ABC corrective wave goes down to 9,500. That's why I like technical analysis. It's not perfect. You can get burned in certain situations, so don't take this as financial advice. Just kind of do your own research. But you can use the bottom of the head. You can draw a line to the neckline, okay? And I copied that line and I put it at the neckline up here. And that's basically, on average, you will see in a major head and shoulders pattern, you will see the increase in price about the same as this line here, from the bottom of the head to the neck. And if that plays out the way we hope it plays out, we will see the price go to about 18,000. And you will see, I will be following this closely over the next week or so and seeing if this actually happens. If we do break through this $12,000 line, then I will definitely be tracking this head and shoulders pattern on the way up and see if it does get some increased volume, some real good price action. And there's going to be bumps along the way. I don't think it means that we go vertical here to 18,000. There's definitely going to be support and resistance lines that we have to break through. Definitely in this $14,000 range. Then there's going to be some at the $15,000 and $16,000 range. Like back in here, we see this congestion. Anywhere you see congestion in the past is a place that you're probably going to have resistance in the future. And if you break through that resistance, then generally speaking, you will get more support at those levels. And that's kind of what I'm looking for. So I'm very bullish on this pattern. I think everything is kind of playing out the way we sort of want it to. And, nice and slow on the way up, slow and steady is good. And then I'm very excited for Profit Trailer and PT Feeder, the results I've been having the past couple of days, testing some new settings for this sort of bull run that we're preparing to go on. I will be doing that video. I'll be launching that video tonight. So stay tuned, subscribe to the channel if you want to get a Profit Trailer and Feeder settings update. Like I said, I'll be launching that tonight. I'm excited to kind of show you guys what I've been doing and a couple tips and tricks that I used to sort of manage my extreme DCA bags that I had in Profit Trailer. So yeah, stay tuned for that and subscribe to the channel if you're interested, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.